Hey guys, insight number 3. So it starts off in this one. We're looking at verses 40 to 48 in chapter 7, but this is faith, hope, and charity. Now he starts off in 33. It says, "And Christ has said, if you will have faith in me, you shall have power to do whatsoever thing is expedient in me." So whatever he's asking of you and you're feeling overwhelmed by all of it, if he's asked you, you'll have that faith, you'll be able to do it. So it starts off with that. But from 40 to 48, it's a discourse on how the three things are connected and what stands out to you. Now, it can be like a lot of faith, hope, charity, and oh my gosh, I feel tumbled around in a dryer and standing on my head. But if you break it down and just slowly go through it and study it, you'll be able to see this. So in 40 it says, "And again, my beloved brethren, I would speak unto you concerning hope. How is it that you can attain unto faith, save ye shall have hope?" So again, first, have faith in Jesus Christ, because that'll make you be able to do anything that he's asked you to do. It's that essential first step in returning home is to have that relationship with Christ, to have faith that he exists, and have faith that if he turned up before and helped you, he will do it again. So the faith comes first. And then you can obtain hope, or attain hope. And then in 41 he says, "For what is it that ye shall hope for?" Like, if you're going to hope, what are you hoping for? Like, you're always hoping for something. That's the whole nature of the word. "Behold, I say unto you that ye shall have hope through the atonement of Christ unto the power of his resurrection, to be raised unto life eternal, and this because of your faith in him according to the promise." So what are you hoping for? Things going to be better, a whole lot better than they are right now at this time. And some days, and some of us will be thinking, gosh, it's pretty good, we're quite happy with this, but it's been particularly hard of these last, for me, 49 years, probably a bit longer, and that's my whole life. There are good parts. There are definitely sections that are incredible and days that are worth remembering. And I just got my fingers stuck in my hair. Sorry, guys. Those days aren't worth remembering. But there's Christmases that I've had with my grandparents that were great. There's moments that we just sat and talked about, played games and whatever you did, and it was awesome. But there's many ones that aren't. Many days that are not. And many days where you struggle to put food on the table. Many days where you lie awake at night thinking, how am I going to pay for everything so that my children have somewhere to sleep? Or where I have somewhere to sleep. And, I've had some severe disappointment lately. But I still look around where I live and I'm like, the furniture I have, the comfort I have, being able to shower inside and having a home that's in a fairly safe neighborhood. And I know I've got food in the cupboards. All those kind of things it's huge. There is hope in better things. And, sometimes I'm like, I'm really enjoying the moment. And I'm like, it's supposed to get better. And he's like, yeah, it will. He just whispers in there. And like, yes, it will. I'm like, awesome. So I'm waiting for that. But anyway, hope of better things. In 42 it says, "Wherefore if a man have faith, he must needs have hope, for without faith there can be no hope." So if you've got faith, you're going to hope. You're going to hope for something better. That's the reason you had faith to begin with, was because it was going to get better. And in 44 he says, if so, his faith and hope is vain, for none is acceptable before God, save the meek and lowly in heart. And if a man be meek and lowly in heart, and confess by the power of the Holy Ghost that Jesus is the Christ, he must needs have charity. For if he have not charity, he is nothing. Wherefore he must needs have charity." So first we have the faith, then we have hope that it's going to get better, and then comes in the charity, because it's going to get better because of the faith you have and the hope that Jesus has given you. Therefore you go out and give charity because you're like, I want to show everybody else this as well. And that actually it can be pretty good right now, and that it will be better with Christ. So I'm going to go out there and be Christ-like and do Christ-like acts so that everyone else can know how freaking awesome it can be as well. So what stands out to you through this discourse? Because we'll finish on verse 45, I think. Actually, maybe not, but it's so good. Anyway, and how would you define charity? because a lot of people don't know what charity is. Charity is the law of consecration. It's the law of taking any good thing that you've got and sharing it. Elder Oaks, he observed, the reason charity never fails and the reason charity is greater than even the most significant acts of goodness is that charity, the pure love of Christ, is not an act but a condition or state of being. Charity is something one becomes. And that's from his October 2000 General Conference talk. Yeah. Charity is not a condition but a state or act of being. It's charity is something one becomes. One becomes a law of consecration, of sharing everything, of making sure that everyone's accounted for, that everyone has dinner at night, that everyone has somewhere to sleep. It becomes who you are. And I'm like, gosh, I've always kind of been that way. Maybe for the beginning, mostly for people I liked. But then I just wanted to help anyone that was suffering because I knew how sucky it was to go through homelessness, to go through hunger, to go through not being able to afford medication. And I'll have moments of that again. And I've often said that to my nephew, you know, we enjoy these times while we've got them because one of these days, I ain't going to have the money and we won't be able to do these cool things. We won't be able to go to the movies together. We'll have to sit at home. We may not even have a working TV. But we'll enjoy the good times while we have them. But we always plan for the future as well. And we try and share it and make sure that everyone gets a share of this and a portion of this. So anyway, 45 through 47. And charity suffereth long, and is kind, and envieth not. Sound familiar? Yeah. And is not puffed up, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, and rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the things, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. So if you become, if charity is something you become, that's what you become. And I'm like, hopeth all things, believeth all things, endureth all things. I'm like, pretty good at the first two. Not doing so well with their enduring all things. Got to work on that one. But yeah, he goes on to say that if you have charity, charity never faileth, and cleave unto charity is the greatest of all. Charity is the pure love of Christ, and endureth forever, and whoso is found possessed of it in the last day, it shall be well with him. And I'm like, now that is reason enough to go and be charitable, because if I'm found possessing charity when Christ comes, or when I meet Christ again, whenever that might be, it's going to be well. And I'm like, I want it to be well. I don't want it to be ugly. I want it to be good. It just says, and then in 48 it says, you know, my beloved brethren, pray unto the Father with all the energy of heart that you may be filled with this love. And so that when Christ appears, we'll know him and he'll know us because we'll be like him. You know, and those scriptures that talk about, you know, when I see you again, you say, well, yeah, and Jesus says, oh, I never knew you. And Joseph Smith said that, oh, you never knew me. He retranslated it. It's in one of the Gospels. It's not about kicking people out. It's about you didn't get to know him. You don't get to know who he was, and you're missing out. So, how do you cleave unto charity? Now, cleave here means, it comes from a Hebrew word, davak, meaning to glue, adhere, or stick to. So, stick to Christ. Stick to charity. It's a good plan. All right. Hang around. We're going to look at chapter 8. I'll see you there.